everybody, welcome back to Epic Beauty Fail. I'm Jessica. On today's video, we're going to be doing a video that I've never done before, I don't think. Maybe? We're going to be doing a swatch video and first impression of these three palettes from LA Colors. I showed these in a haul a couple weeks ago, and I got a couple of comments from you guys asking me to go ahead and do a video on these, so that's what we're going to do today. I am going to open each of them. I'm going to swatch them all for you, so I will be inputting swatches, and I'm going to be doing a look, hopefully with all three of them. We'll see how it goes. Like I said, I've never filmed a video like this before, so we'll see how it goes. Anyway, LA Colors came out with three palettes. This one is the nude one, this one is rose, and then this last one is cool. I found these in my local Rite Aid. I think they were $3.50 each. Now, LA Colors is a brand that I have found in the dollar store fairly often, but these are actually fairly large palettes, and luckily they're all taped shut. So I'm going to go ahead and I'll open the nude one first. Just going to use a pair of scissors here to cut the tape on these. And I'm going to take that thingy out. But here's the nude palette. That's what that looks like. Okay. And we'll go ahead and get the other ones open too while I'm at it. Meanwhile, go ahead and hit that red subscribe button. I would really appreciate it if you would do that. It means a lot to me. And I'm going to open the cool one while I'm doing it. Hit the like button too while you're down there. That little thumbs up. Okay, so here is the rose palette. Okay, and the last one is the cool palette. So this is going to be, like I said, a first impression. I will throw up some swatches of all of the shades. I have not touched any of these yet, so I think what I'm going to do is actually swatch something with you here live. And then, like I said, I will be filming the swatches after I film the video, and they will be inserted throughout the video. So I'm trying to decide what I want to touch. I don't know. They're all kind of interesting. I think this is the prettiest. Actually, what I'm going to do is go into this crease shade because it's kind of like a blue purple. So I'm going to go ahead and get that. It is a little bit chunky. Okay, so it's not super deep, but it's not bad. Actually, let me fix my lighting real quick. All right, I think that's going to be a little bit better. You're going to be able to see the color a little bit better. Let's see, what other color do I want to swatch? I think I'm going to do the blue shade from the Cool. This is also considered a crease shade. Again, a little bit chunky. All right, not too bad. There's the blue. So they're pretty. They're not super pigmented though. I will say that. There's still some on my fingers, but they're not dark. Let's do one more. Let's go ahead with the black one from the Cool shade. That is not good. This is a matte. I don't know if the camera will focus on that enough for you guys to see how chunky it is. So I'm not sure if the camera's picking up the chunkiness of that, but that is super chunky. A lot came up on my finger and it's messy. So I'm going to clean that up real quick. All right, now that I clean that up so I don't get it everywhere, we're going to go ahead and I'm going to try to do a look with each of these. So let's see. I think I'm going to go ahead and start with Cool since I've already started swatching those. I'm going to close the nude and the rose and put those aside for right now. I'm going to go ahead and pull out. Now, of course, each of these came with one of these little sponge tip applicator things. I'm not going to use those. So, but I think what I'm going to do is, I don't know. So I think what I'm going to do is just try to do a look with this. I mean, I think what they're trying to say is like this group of 5 and then this group of 5 can be like a look. On the back, it only says select 3 shades, a shade for the base, a darker crease shade, and then a light highlight shade. And basically it says, you know, you start with your lid as the base shade, the crease for the darker shade, and then your highlight across your brow bone. And I don't really like to do that because I do have hooded eyes. And when I first started my channel, everybody was saying, you have hooded eyes, you can't have a dark lid. You need to have a lighter lid. So, but I mean, I guess it does. These four in the center are the lid shades. These two are crease, these two are crease, and then the highlight are the big ones on the corner. So that's what they're saying on the palette, if you can see them there. I would be very nervous to use that black as a crease shade, but... And there's shimmer. I don't think... The black is a matte. This highlight here, I think, is a matte. Yeah. All right. I'm nervous. I'm nervous. I think what I'm going to do is go into the brown crease shade here, and I'm going to put that in my crease. Now, I'm having a difficult time getting some of that on my brush, but it is coming. It's just taking a minute. And we're going to go ahead and put that on this lid. I think what I might do is actually do a look on this eye, a look on this eye, and then at the end, do one look on both eyes with the last palette. So, all right, that isn't too bad. I've definitely had crease shades that I've tried that have looked much worse than that. And this is not really a matte, I don't feel like, but it's also not really a shimmer shade either. My biggest problem is getting enough on the brush because it doesn't want to come up on the brush very well. I mean, it will as I dip into it. What am I doing? I said I was going to do one eye. Oh well. I guess what I'll do is I'll do this palette on both eyes, and then I'll try the one eye with each of the other palettes. How about that? Maybe I'll do two looks with this one because it's so different shades, so many different shades. The other two palettes are in like the same shade family, so it won't be as different. All right, I think that's okay shade-wise. And it showed up. It's not like it's even like very little pigmented. Every once in a while, some of the Wet n Wild palettes, they're very inexpensive, but they also don't show up very well on the eyes. Some of them are good, but some of them, they just don't show up very well. I did a video a little while ago where I was using one of the quads, and I just was having difficulties. It did not want to show up on my lids. So, okay, I'm actually liking that crease shade. I think what I'm going to do is do something a little bit weird for me. I think I'm going to go ahead and stick with this color palette here on this eye and then use this color palette on the left eye, as long as I remember. So I'm going to go with it. This says that this dark purple here is a crease shade, so I'm going to get a little bit of that on my brush, and I'm going to tap that off because this is definitely powdery. So just so you know, it is powdery, but again, I paid $3.50 for this palette. Well, I actually got it on a sale. I think I paid like $2.75 or something like that per palette, but the retail price is $3.50. So, all right, that is not as pigmented, and that might be because I am tapping the brush off. But even when I swatched it in this video, not the full swatches, but even when I swatched it just a minute ago, it wasn't super pigmented, so I'm having a difficult time just building that up to a dark enough shade. I mean, I think you guys can see it. I don't think it's lost at all, but it's definitely not super dark. It's not as dark as the shade would indicate in the palette. So, okay. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to clean my brush in my color switch. Honestly, I have so many brushes that I could use a different brush. I just prefer not to because I don't know about you guys, but washing brushes is not my favorite task to do. So, if I could use my color switch and not have to wash brushes as often, I'll do it. So, all right, I went into the blue crease shade, and I'm going to put that on this side. Again, it's not super pigmented, but I am tapping a good bit of it off. And I'll say this too. I'm probably going to wash this brush as soon as I'm done with it because I've found that especially like blues will stain my brushes. I mean, I think I got this brush in a beauty box. This is a Moda Pro BMX 430 crease brush. And these are not expensive brushes. You can get Moda Pros at Walmart. But I'm going to go back into that purple because I want to darken that up a little bit in my right eye crease. But I like this brush. This is actually one of my favorite crease brushes, to be honest with you. So inexpensive brush, but I like this is actually Royal and Langnickel. The line I think is called Moda Pro. Now I'm going to go back into that blue a little bit for the other eye. This is oftentimes what I do is I will build shades up on both eyes. Like gradually. So that I'm never like too crazy. Okay. I think there might have still been some blue on my brush. Well, no, it seems to be coming off pretty well with the color switch. So maybe it's just that is a blue or like a blue undertone purple. So it's looking more blue. It's the one down here in the corner. I think it is looking more blue than like red purple, if that makes sense. So it's more of a bluer tone purple. Okay. I already used the brown crease shade. And that's fine. The black crease shade, I'm nervous to use that. If you've seen any of my videos, you might know that black eyeshadows scare me. They just do. Because they have a tendency to get away from me very, very quickly. All right, I'm going to take this brush here. It's my Sigma E55 eye shading. I'm going to go into the light purple shade. And I'm going to put that actually all over my lid. All right, so that's actually really pretty. And what's interesting is that it's not that much lighter than this shade. Even though in the pan it looks way lighter. I don't know if you guys can tell, but it's not that much lighter than that crease purple. Okay, I'm gonna color switch my brush because I'm being lazy. And then I'm gonna go into the light lid shade with the same brush. That's actually really pretty. And I'm going to put it over top of the inner corner and kind of just blend it out to lighten up the inner corner a little bit. Not bad. All right, I'm going to go into the golden shade over on this side, and I'm going to put that on my other lid. Okay, and then I'm going to go into the gray. And I'm going to focus this on just the outer portion of the lid. That's not super pigmented. I don't know how it's showing up in the finger swatches or how it showed up in the finger swatches, but it's not super pigmented. That's not doing real much. I'm going to swatch that real quick to see what its swatch is like. It's really pretty when you put it on your finger. There it is. It's like a blue toned silver. So it's pretty. I bet you if I used my finger to put it on, it would show up a lot better. Yeah. And that actually goes much better with that blue shade than that gold shade did. I'm going to use a different finger, go back into the light purple, and put that on this lid. Oh yeah, with a finger that makes a big difference. A different finger again. Now this is when I'm using my finger on the light lid shade over here, it came off very chunky. So I think my purple eye is okay. This eye over here, though, that gold shade just doesn't seem to go with the color scheme. Does that make sense? Did you guys know what I mean? Like the silver and the blue look okay together, but that gold, it's just too warm for this look. And I don't know, I mean, I guess it's a cool tone gold, but it's definitely warmer than everything else. Okay, I am going to, what do I want to do? I'm going to take a pencil brush and I'll go ahead into this highlight shade first and just put that along my brow bone. That's not really showing up very much. I'm going to put it on my inner corner. Again, not showing up a whole lot in my mirror, at least. I don't know how the camera's picking it up, but in my mirror it's not showing up real well. I am getting fallout. You can see down here on my lower lash line or my lower lid, it's definitely blue. And I have some over here with the purple as well. I'm going to go into this highlighter here. And I'm just going to put that on my inner corner. Again, I'm not getting a whole lot out of this shade. Oh yeah, I am. Got an eyelash on my face. Why didn't you guys tell me I had an eyelash on my face? I'm going to get a different brush, and I think this is my outer V brush. I'm going to go into the black. That is very chunky. And I'm going to put it on this eye over here. Black eyeshadow scares me, guys. If you saw my video that posted yesterday, it was my palette bingo with the EBates Soft Glam palette. I used the black shade for eyeliner because black eyeshadows scare me. And if you see how well I'm doing with it right now, you probably understand. Black eyeshadow and I do not get along. I just don't know how to use it. I just don't know how to use it. Maybe I'm just not blending it enough when I use it, and it looks like super dark versus some other people who can really smoke it out. Like, it just kind of like takes over my whole eye look when I wear black eyeliner or black eyeshadow. All right, I'm going to go into what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to take this brush right here. This is a Makeup Geek foiled eyeshadow brush. I'm going to go into my dark purple crease shade, and I'm going to run that along my lower lash line. And then I'm going to take my blue one over here and put that along this lower lash line. Alright, I don't know what you guys think. Obviously, I don't have mascara on. I will put mascara on at the end and lipstick on as well after I do the other ones, but I'm going to wipe all this off anyway, so I don't want to put mascara or eyeliner or anything on right now because it's all going to come off. So, alright, quick review on just this cool palette. I think the gold shade is pretty, but I think it's out of place. If you look at it on my eye right here, it's out of place with these five shadows. The blue and the silver, I think, are really pretty together. Even the black, it'll go. I mean, I made a mess because I just don't know how to use black eyeshadow. But I think the blue and the silver and even this silvery highlight kind of has like a bluish tone to it. I think those three together look really nice. The black obviously would go with it if you know how to use black eyeshadow. I think the gold is very, very pretty, but it just doesn't go with that, those other four colors. Yeah, see, it's super pretty on my hand there. It just doesn't really go with the other shades on that portion of the palette. As far as the purples go, I think the brown or the bronzy shade actually worked really, really well in my crease. I think the purples were pretty if you like purples. And then the more of a pinkish lid shade right here wasn't bad. The highlighter, I didn't really get much out of the highlighter. So again, I don't know how those worked in the swatches when I do those, but I would say for $3.50, if you like these shades, if you want to do a purple or a blue look, you would do okay with it. It works. I mean, I think my purple eye actually looks pretty good. If I would throw a little bit of liner and mascara on there, I would absolutely go out with my eye looking like that. I kind of screwed this one up with the black, to be honest with you. I just did. So, all right, I'm going to go ahead, take this off, and we will start again with the Nude and Rose palettes. I'll do one on one eye and one on the other. All right, my concealer is reapplied. It looks like there might be a little bit of blue residue and purple residue on my eyes, but we are going to ignore that. Okay, so I've got my Nude palette and my Rose palette. Honestly, these shades are not that different. I'm going to hold them up beside each other. Well, maybe they are. Some of them. Well, no, they're totally different. So that's the two palettes held up beside each other. Obviously the red one is the Rose and the other one is the Nude. But I will say that I think that they are a lot more monochromatic. Now, the thing that was telling me, like, when I looked at them, that my brain was saying, oh, they look similar, was this shade right here is very red toned or warm toned. I think this one, actually this Nude palette, I think that you could get either a cool tone or a warm tone look out of this, depending on what you were looking for. Like if you were using these ones over here, you'd get more of a cool tone, and some of these shades down here, you get more of a warm tone. And although I can't really say any of these are, any of the rose colors are actually like fully cool tone, some of them do have like a blue undertone to them. And it looks like there's some plastic in this one. That kind of stinks. All right. Let's go ahead and I'm going to work on one eye and then I'm going to go back and work on the other eye. So I think I'm going to start with the Rose one first. I'll do the Rose on my right eye. I'm going to close the Nude one for now. Let's go ahead, and it looks to me like this crease shade right here is probably the most matte of them all. So I'm going to go ahead and get some of that on my brush and put this in my crease. Now, I normally do the same shade for both eyes rather than, you know, doing an entire eye and then going back and doing the other total eye. So I got to keep reminding myself not to do the other eye, because that is what happened with the other palette. So, okay. That's not bad. It's not, again, it's not like super pigmented. So this is very forgiving for somebody who maybe doesn't use makeup every day and could get into a lot of trouble if the palette like is super pigmented. I'm very curious about this shade right here. It looks almost like it's duochromatic. Again, it's a little bit it's a lot powdery, and it's not real pigmented either. That's a shame, because it looked like it was going to be. Okay, there it is. It's pretty. I just want to use all the shades. Okay, I think what I'm going to do is go into that shade that I just swatched, this one right here, and it says crease, so I'm going to put that in my crease. Again, this one is more powdery, so I'm just trying to be a little bit more careful with the shades that are more powdery, so that I don't get a whole lot of fallout on my face. So okay, I'm going to go in with my shading brush, and there is actually a matte lid. This shade right here is a matte lid shade, but I think what I'm going to do is go into the like more golden red and see how that looks on the lid. Oh, that's pretty. That's pretty. I'm going to actually use my finger because I'm getting some color, but I have a feeling I'm going to get more. Yeah, I'm definitely getting more with my finger, and it's a very pretty shade. It's definitely red, but it's got almost like a bronzy tone to it. You guys see that? I think that's pretty. That's pretty. All right, what I'm going to do is go into the shade below it, this shade right here. I'm going to go in again with my finger, and I'm just going to do the inner portion of my eye. That's not being, it's kind of just blending into the other shade. It's not, I was hoping that I would get a little bit more dimension, but it's not, it's kind of blending in. It's a pretty shade. It's actually really pretty. All right, what I'm going to do is go into this highlight shade. Again, I'm going to use my fingers. I'm going to dry them off first. And go into that highlight shade and put that on top. All right, so that is super pigmented. It kind of almost like canceled out that red that I just put on there. That is way more pigmented than I thought it was going to be. Like way more pigmented than I thought it was going to be. Okay. I am going to go in with this brush here and no, yeah. Yes. And I'm going to go into this crease shade and I'm going to run that along my lower lash line. It's very like a plummy rose. A darker rose. I like that shade too. That's pretty. All right, I think I'm gonna actually go into the outer V brush, clean it off really, really good because I don't want any of that black. Cool. Okay, I'm gonna go into that same shade, get a little bit on that brush, and then use this in my outer V on this eye. That's pretty. That's pretty. Okay, so of the shades I used in this palette, I think they're all pretty. I like reds though. So if you don't like reds, obviously this palette's not going to be for you. It just isn't. But I like these shades. Probably the one that disappointed me the most is this shade right here. I just don't feel like it really showed up all that well. Yeah. I think it's pretty. I don't know. Let me know in the comment section down below what you guys think of this eye look with the rose. Yeah, I think that's pretty. All right, I'm going to put this aside and I'm going to pull out the Nude palette and work with that on my other eye. Okay, let's see what we want to do with the Nude palette. Okay, I think I'm going to start with this shade right here as the crease shade. So we're going to go into that. Of course, I sort of gravitate towards the more red toned colors in the palette. So I got to get away from that a little bit. And I will do that then. So in the pan, this looks darker than it ends up showing up on my lid. Which again, if you're somebody who doesn't use a lot of makeup or, you know, a kid who's just beginning, I say kid, I started with makeup at 38. 37. So, you know, I mean, I wore a little bit of makeup when I was younger, but I didn't get into makeup until I was like 37. I think that looks good. Okay, I'm going to go into this shade here, which is a crease shade. I'm going to keep with that same brush and I'm going to work that into my crease. Because I could have easily went into this red shade and basically mimicked the same look on this lid as on my other lid with a different palette. I could have easily mimicked that. All right, so that shade is actually a little bit darker than I expected. I mean, it's kind of pewter shaded. It's shaded. It's kind of like a pewter shade, which is pretty. It's just a little bit darker than I had expected. Okay, this is interesting because it looks like 3 of the 4 lid shades are actually matte. This shade here looks like it's the only one that has any shimmer to it. I think I'm going to go in with I want to go in with the orangey brown, but I'm not going to. I'm going to go in with this shade here, and I'm using the wrong brush. I'm going to switch brushes. I'm going to go in with this shade right here. I'm not getting a whole, I mean, I'm getting some color, obviously. Not a whole lot of color payout with that one though. Okay, and I usually like shimmer on my lids, so I'm going to go into the one shimmer shade, which is the lid shade here. Get that on my finger and tap that on my lid. Okay, it's not bad. Just not, this is not an eye look I would typically do. Excuse me. Trying to decide what else I want to do. I think I'm going to go into this highlight shade. Did I already go into that highlight shade? I don't think so. I'm going to go into this highlight shade, get a little bit on my finger. That actually has a little bit of a shimmer to it. It's a little bit grainier too than some of these other ones feel. Okay, that's not bad. All right, I'm gonna go into the red, which has been calling my name this whole time because I like reds. Sorry, I just do. I'm gonna go into that and I'm gonna run that along my lower lash line. Okay. I feel like they turned out similar. What do you guys think? Did they turn out similar? I think they turned out similar. I'm going to go into my pencil brush and go into this shade here and put that in my inner corner. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and put my mascara on. I might put a little bit of eyeliner, we will see, and some lipstick on, and I will be right back. All right, y'all, that is my final look. I mean, honestly, these two looks, my two eyes, they look very similar, and that's probably because I ended up using the shades that I like on my eyes. Now, could I have done an even more neutral look with the Nude palette than what I did? Yes. Yes, I could have. I could have stuck with this quad right here and been totally like gray. I could have even used some of these too, and it would have been a lot more neutral than what it ended up being, because I used, you know, like this shade here and this shade, you know, it ended up being a little bit more red than maybe somebody else would have used this palette to do, but I like it. I like it a lot. So my final thoughts on the LA Colors, what are these 10 pan palettes? Are they the best palettes out there? No. They're $3.50. I would say that they work better than some other palettes that I've used. You know, not to knock any other brands, but there are some palettes that are definitely much more expensive than $3.50, and they don't look this good. Me personally, I really like the Rose palette, but that's because these are the shades that I like to wear on my eyes a lot. None of the shades in these caused me too many problems. My biggest issue probably was more just how much pigment I got out of them. This palette though, the Cool palette, I got a lot more chunkiness in some of these shades, so that's something to keep in mind. If you like these colors, go for it. You saw that I made it work. Just not my favorite. If I was going to do this again, I would probably only pick up these two palettes and skip the Cool palette, even though it's got some really pretty colors in it. It's just not something that I would normally gravitate to on a daily basis, if that makes sense. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give me a thumbs up down below. If you haven't already, please hit the red subscribe button and don't forget to hit the little bell. And if you have any comments, leave those in the comment section down below. Have you found these LA Color palettes at your pharmacy or drugstore. Like I said, I found them at my Rite Aid. They were $3.50 though. I think it was $3.50. It might have been $3.99, but still, like 10 shadows. This is more than, you get more shades than if you would buy a Wet n Wild palette. And I think they're really good. For the price, they're really good is what I should say. For the price, they're really good. Are they as nice as some of my super high-end eyeshadows? No. Some of them, yes. Some of them, yes. I mean, I could probably duplicate this look with some of my other palettes. Honestly, I could. Because I think that this turned out really pretty. This even turned out really pretty. Like I said, it's a little bit more cool than the rose. I would have to work a little bit harder to dupe this one just because I can't tell you off the top of my head a palette that I would use to dupe that. I could probably go and within 10 minutes have shadows to dupe this eye. But those are shades that I have in my collection. So anyway, let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. If you weren't aware, I do have my own online clothing boutique. It is nimneys.com. The link is in the description bar down below. If you're interested, please check it out. And that's going to be it for my video today. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you on the next Epic Beauty Fail. Bye.